Welcome to this Databank Coffee Break on Demand, and we are going to be looking at creating new contacts. So anytime you want to add a person into your database, you can do that one of two ways. So the first is to either go to Contacts and then click this Add Contact button here. Or if you think that they might be in your system, you can go up to this Quick Find and search. Now I'm not coming up with any matches, so if that happens, you can also click here where it says no matches, click to add a new record. And that will bring you to this contact information page. And this is the same page, by the way, that you would get to if you used the other route, Contacts and Add Contact. So most of this page is pretty self-explanatory. You want to enter in as much information as you have in all of these fields. So we've got name, contact information, work information, things like that. But I'm going to point out a few important fields in here and some that I think you might have some questions about. So this contact type here is quite important. This is where you would mark how someone is involved with your organization. So you can mark them as participant, volunteer, staff, board member, donor. You can also mark them as a secondary contact, and that would be someone who is maybe not directly involved with your organization, but has a connection somehow. So this would be, for instance, an emergency contact, or a spouse or family member of a participant, or if you've got an emergency contact for volunteers, things like that. So they would be your secondary contacts. I also just wanted to mention that there are a few contact fields here that are really only used by LAN. So this is for our own database so that we can track information for ourselves. So you can safely ignore these. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see some race and ethnicity fields, but I'm going to point out just a couple here. So we've got this recognition name field. And this is essentially how someone would want to be recognized in an annual report or on your website. So if you are doing an annual report, or if you are ever putting out a list of donors or volunteers, it's really great to be able to ask them how they would prefer to be listed. And you can put that information here because it might be different from their legal name or their mailing name. If you scroll down a little bit more, you will also see a mailing name field. So that is how their name would appear on a mailing label. And then preferred name if they have a nickname or anything else that they would rather be called. I also want to point out this notes field here. So if you have any important notes that you want to see immediately when you're logged on to this person's page, you are going to want to put your notes right here, and they are going to appear right at the top of the page for that contact. So this is great for things like noting that someone's spouse has passed away, or noting any really specific needs by participants or preferences of volunteers. If you scroll down a bit more, you'll also see these contact preferences, so you can mark whether or not it's okay to contact this individual. And then this status field down here, you can mark someone active, inactive, or deceased. I want to point out that this is different from indicating whether or not they are active participants or volunteers. So this is really just to mark whether or not they are actively involved with your organization and they're active in the database. Once all of this information is filled out, you can press the Save button here, and it will save your contact. And I am going to show you just really quickly how that looks once it's all filled in. So I'm going to look for one of my participants. And to get to that contact information page from the participant's homepage, you would just click on their name or next to their name on this little edit icon. And this will bring up that contact page where you can edit or fill in any of this information.